Chapter 8 World Schools Games, 1998. Following the successful World Cup events, I was invited to swim for Great Britain in the World Schools Championships in Shanghai, China, in 1998. I was chosen to swim the 100 metres backstroke, 200 metres backstroke, and the 100 metres backstroke in the team relay. I was swimming so very well that I was bound to do well in China. I had never been there before, so I was very excited for that reason too. Recently, I had moved up to swim with Ian Turner, where I trained with amazing swimmers like Paul Palmer and Andy Clayton. These sessions were harder as they were further and faster. I really must be a proper Olympic possibility now. 2 weeks before we booked to fly to China, I got a cold and bad earache, which really annoyed me. I never get sick. Why did I have to get sick now? I also had to go for a hepatitis A injection, which would apparently stop me from getting hepatitis A, which can be transported in water. I went to the doctors with my mum to get my injection, both of us feeling and thinking that this was a bad idea, because I wasn't rid of that earache yet. The injection could prevent an illness, but for me, it could have caused one. We asked the doctor whether I was allowed to have an injection as I was ill already with a cold. Yes, he said, even though I still had a temperature. I had the injection and straight away I had an awful feeling that I had done the wrong thing. This was to be a life-changing decision that would be the end of everything I had loved, and indeed an awful decision with reactions that were endless and all very bad for me. I still went to China feeling not very well and knowing somehow that this time I was not going to get better. While in China, I came 8th in both of my individual races and 2nd in the relay. I should have won all of my races as I was seeded first, but I felt awful from the cold and earache and swam some bad times. The nightmare had begun. I met some very nice swimmers while on this camp, and on one day after the swimming was over and we were enjoying the gymnastics, someone had the bright idea that we should try to stay up all night and just drink lots of alcohol. We all agreed that this was a wonderful idea, and so started straight away. The shops seemed to have very cheap drinks, which just encouraged us to buy more and more. We had a great time drinking and chatting, and we stayed up all, or at least the majority of the night. The next night we did very much the same thing, even though we were feeling pretty tired. On the last day, even though we were shattered, we had to try to keep our eyes open, and when we got to the coach to drive back to the airport, our eyes dropped and often closed. We remained excited that we had stayed awake for 3 nights, but the trip home was very hard, and we all fell asleep on our bags in the airport while waiting for the plane. It was a nice end to my life as a Great Britain Olympic swimmer. Almost. And it will remain in my mind forever. I went home feeling nauseous and unsteady, as well as shattered from the lack of sleep. My mum said the colour had gone from my face, and she told me to go straight to bed. The next day I seemed to be getting worse, and so my mum booked an appointment to see the doctor. The doctor was unsure why I was feeling so bad, and said I should see an ENT, ears, nose and throat doctor. My mum booked for me a private appointment which cost my parents £500. The ENT doctor noticed an unusual flutter in my pupils, in my eyes, and advised me to see a neurologist because the problem definitely was not in my ears, nose or throat. Coincidentally, there was a neurologist standing outside of the room. He came in, did a few tests and told me to go for an MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, a brain scan, and to see him the next day for results. I was terrified. What was wrong with my brain? Did I have a brain tumour? Hopefully this will all be nothing and I will be given a course of antibiotics and everything will be fine. What would I do if he says that I'm going to die? Is this why I swam so badly in China? Have I just got a cold? It doesn't feel like just a cold. Maybe it's glandular fever or the flu. I don't want to die. I'm too young. I haven't been to the Olympics yet. The worrying thoughts raced through my mind. I feel it is somehow appropriate that my swimming career ended in China in 1998. I couldn't have known then that this swimming would bring me back to China again in another bittersweet occasion later in life. China and its pitiful experiences will be with me forever, so I chose to have a tattoo, the Chinese symbol for love, imprinted on the back of my shoulder. The tattoo is forever, and I need to keep my true love alive forever too. My life then turned very hard and dark, and the love I have for my family and close friends is the only reason I am still alive now. I hit the deepest, darkest part of any hole, and hopefully nobody else ever gets this low. If you have a bad feeling about something, please listen to your body or your mind. It might save your life.